How do these pair of Klein pliers compare with the other ones, the Klein, the Ideal, and the knipex? These are the K126.5CRs here. This is a requested video. Somebody messaged me less than 2 days ago. Can you compare these pliers with these? And I figured I'd throw in some others for fun. First impression. Smooth out of the box. Crimpers, screw shears, long area to cut with. Nice and open, don't have to open the handles too much. Strips up to 8, number 10 stranded, cross hatching. Good weight in the front. They're not just completely heavy all the way across, so they've got a nice kind of feel to them where you're just not, it's hard to explain, but when pliers are just heavy all around and don't have kind of a counterweight to them, they're not fun to hold. The curve is nice, it's comfortable. Works on both sides. All right. Got another pair of Kleins. The JT158CRs, my favorite. Crimper, cross hatching. You see how much use these things get. 3 sizes, 14, 12, 10. Long cutters. Screw shears, crimper. Grips. Don't slip. Been using these for years. Grips are pretty solid on there. We got the Ideal here. 45 110BAs. Looks like they go up to number 8 as well. Smaller cutter. Maybe the same size, we'll see. Cross hatching. Heavy all the way across. Not a very good kind of weight distribution there. Got tethering, but really no substance to it. Handle scratch fairly easy. Fairly thick. Pretty chunky. Pretty chunky. Try these out. Look at the knipex. Now everybody loves these. This is how much they open. So that's them open. You gotta force them more open to get things in there. Cuts amazing. Everyone says that they cut MC and all that stuff. What are the sizes there? Number 12. And 10 solid. No cross hatching. I had to make it myself. I'll show you where that's beneficial. Used a grinder, did that live. Screw shears. Lock shut. Great grips. Good feel. All right. Let's see how these compare. How do they cut? What does it sound like? We're going to go about the same distance away. Less leverage for sure. Let's go back here. Take quite a bit to cut. They still cut. That's about as much as you're going to get in there. Squeezing pretty hard there, going to be honest. Knipex, got to open out just slightly more. Cuts like a dream. These Kleins, how do they cut? Easier than the curves, more leverage. How much space do we have? Still quite a bit more. And the Ideals, let's see. Cutters on one side, nope. Just like the other ones. Ooh. Actually worse than all of them. Got to squeeze pretty hard. And look at that. These are easier than those. These are easier than these two. These make the easiest cut, obviously. Let's see, how do they strip? There's the number 12 right there. That's 10, that's 8. Number 12 solid right here. Okay. You can see we're grabbed here and then pulled the whole way. Let's verify that. Number 12 solid right there. I might have been on the wrong size, guys, because they actually strip really nice. Kind of. You can see a little nick right there. Hear it on my fingernail. See it on the camera. These strip like a dream, so I don't have to worry about it. I like the 3 sizes. Very easy to find. Very common sizes. I can grab here and I can just pull whenever I want to. Comes right off. Absolutely amazing. 2 cuts. Requires more leverage. Notice how it's getting gunked up. So for stripping, number 12 right here, solid. They honestly did a pretty good job. If you're curious on what a good job looks like, I will show you right now. Right off. Easy. Alright, let's try making something up. From stripping it to making a joint. The other pliers are definitely better at stripping. Let's see how they make up our connection here. Pretty nice. Not a whole lot of leverage. You kind of got to squeeze them a little bit more back here. They almost need a little bit more length back here. Having to kind of angle my wrist a little bit differently, and I'm really lacking the leverage on the back side here. I'm having to hold them back here instead of here. They're fairly slippery on the grip. Let's try the 8 CRs here. 12, nice strip there. Nice strip there. There's a reason why most pros, they really know what they're doing, use these. I'm talking about electrician Ron. Electrician Rons of the world know better. You can see where we're getting, this is, you know, just not really working with us, but you can see where you're getting a little bit more leverage. I'm able to keep this closed. And look where these pliers are in my hand. Way up here, not down here. These definitely give you more leverage. And they automatically win versus these when you're making connections. No doubt about it. These are out. I don't like them. These have more leverage. More grab. You can see where my hands are. Check out the knipex. I'm going to strip these. I don't really know exactly where the number 12 slot is. I think it's here. Close enough. Okay, now I've crosshatched these to set the copper into these grooves. When they're closed, they're still open, just like a good pair of clines is. So if we look at an actual pair of clines, when they're closed, they're still open. When these are closed, they're still open. When these are closed, they're somewhat open. And then these stay open, but they just don't, not doing it for me. Question was for fire alarm cable. See, these are just too thin. You can see where I'm just kind of rolling over the copper. Not really giving a good twist. You can see where I lose the grab on it. You got to keep it in these grooves to really have it twist together. So my modification helps, but only so much. Let's see what happens if we hold this still down here and we go for a nice twist up here. That's 3 turns. That's what we got. We'll try the ideals here in a second, but right now we're comparing it to these. That was the request. You can see just the amount of leverage that you get when you use these. Completely unmatched. Okay. Now for the ideal. Ideal strip, not too bad, but the wire disappears in these pretty, wherever your strippers are, they're in the middle, so you can't really see what the hell's going on, right? It's interesting design there in the middle instead of off to the sides here. We're like directly in the middle of the pliers. It's worth noting. Make up nice. They close nice. They actually have really good leverage. Wow, they have good leverage. I don't like the strippers. Not a fan of the handle. But they have okay leverage when it comes to grabbing. Not too bad. They kind of ride right there too. After trying these out and actually using them, they're okay. They're a little quirky. They definitely have less leverage when it cuts. The middle stripper is interesting, to say the least. But they provide some pretty decent leverage, even in my hand like this. Cutters on the side, I don't know why the strippers aren't. These are actually more useful than those, so I don't know where these fall. They don't fall very good though for making up connections. They just don't. They don't even have any cross hatching before this, so they really don't grab anything without the cross hatching that I did. They're not even able to twist the wire in my hand. All we're able to do here is grind the copper away. Great for Wagos, great for European wiring. This is where these originated. Good strippers, not great for joints. Let's try these one more time. Back on that number 10 slot. This is one reason why I like what I like. They just don't have the leverage. Yep, they don't have the leverage. You can pay attention to what you're doing, but when it comes to like actually trying to twist the wire, they slide around a lot like the knipex do. You can see them kind of sliding. If you know what you're doing, you know, you can make a good connection with any pair of pliers, but I think my knipex that grind might do a better job than these do. You can see how many turns here. We'll take these. 3 turns, even more turns there. You can just see the leverage difference. Way more useful. Try the ideal. They might even have more leverage. I'm just not a fan of the middle strippers and the weight. What's my final thought? I like these because they're dedicated strippers. I like them because they're heavy enough to hit with. I like them because they have 3 spots to strip. Nothing more, nothing less. Very minimalist. What's my final thought? Get your real pair of Kleins. You get the ultimate leverage. You can see I'm holding this in my hand. We're not having to wrap it around. And you can see how much more leverage you get, how much tighter the connection gets. There you go. That's my final thought. Full size is always better. These are next to the best. These have good leverage, but strip weird and are pretty heavy for what they are. Hype. Skip them. Skip them. Yep, there you go. Before we go, we'll take some skinnier 14 gauge wire. The question was specifically about being a fire alarm. Use these for fire alarm because they strip down pretty small. What's my thought? For fire alarm, man, they probably do just fine. Feel good to open, feel good to close, feel good in your hand. Lack the leverage versus the other ones. For fire alarm, they're probably okay, but for anything more than fire alarm, skip them. There you go.